Hi everybody and welcome to the monthly August Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine full reading. Sorry it's been a little while since I've done a monthly reading. To be honest, time just passes. and I forget that there's been a month or two or whatever. I do always do the weeklies, and I mean to do the monthlies. But a week is long enough for me to remember. Months kind of go. But here is the monthly reading. Just a little collection here, some rose quartz, a little crocheted stone that is beautiful, and a rose from one of my gardens. It sounds like I have many gardens, but it's just a garden of somewhere I was living that I'm not living anymore. I just am staying in a new temporary place in London at the moment, which is very beautiful, and feeling very good here to be here in London. So yes, that's it. I'm not going to do an oracle reading for this. I don't think, but we'll see how we go. I've given the cards a good shuffle, and I'm just going to split the deck into three, which is what I usually do. Oh, that's kind of sticky, that bottom card, isn't it? And then off we go. Oh, the right way up would be handy. Bottom of the deck is for the month of August for all twin flames, unconditional lovers. Theme card is the Seven of Cups. This can be a little bit of a tricky energy. It's really clarifying what we want, but what I feel like this is really saying is understanding that we are free to choose anything from a neutral space, which means that some things that seem like they are wrong, or seem like they are shadow, or seem like they are dark, needn't necessarily be so. It just doesn't matter what we choose, basically. It's a card of free will. It's really speaking of free will. And it's saying that from that space of free will, we can choose and explore many different things. It is cups and it is emotion. So really it's whatever makes us feel good, whatever makes us feel open and loving and communicative and ourselves. And sometimes a little saunter down a darker alley can take us on a faster route to the light. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes a little saunter down a darker alley can take us on a faster route towards the light. So it's really not to judge ourselves in any of our behaviours, and to really choose whatever fits us in that moment, and not to beat ourselves up about it. I have noticed with a lot of people that I work with, a lot of people that follow me, that they work way too hard. I mean, I may be guilty of this a little bit myself, of just, beating oneself up a bit. I'm kind of drawn to the kind of like the Spanish Inquisition, when people used to use pain to get closer to God. And you know what? There is something about difficulty and pain that does break us open. But that doesn't mean that we have to go there or we need to work hard. And I just find that a lot of the time people are really hard on themselves and push themselves and don't take the time to really appreciate. And I think when we take that time to stop, we can really help to abate the confusion that can sometimes arise. But what I do feel like for the month of August, it's going to be a little bit confusing. There is a big eclipse of the moon, I believe, on the 7th, I believe. And I do feel as though it is a little bit about exploring some heavier, shadowier things. And it's not to be afraid to explore those things, because they will help us to define our truth and our desire. Right, so I'm going to do the masculine on this side, feminine on this side. So let us go. First card for the masculine is the Five of Swords. Second card for the masculine is the Knight of Pentacles. Third card for the masculine is, sorry, a bit of energy moving through quite fast. Third card for the masculine is the Fourth of Swords. Oh wow, lots of very high vibe energy. Very, very high vibe. Fourth card for the masculine is the Eight of Pentacles. These cards are coming up a lot at the moment as well. The Four of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. It's like the rest and the work, kind of what I was talking about. First card for the feminine, the Ace of Swords. Lovely. Second card for the feminine, the Ace of Pentacles. Amazing. Two big cards there. Third card for the feminine, the Tower. Interesting big card there. Third card for the feminine, the Four of Pentacles. Beautiful. So there are four cards for each. I'm actually okay. Let's bring out these ones too. So we're going to do the energy the masculine brings. Going to go around in a circle. The Crown. Energy the feminine brings. Let's move this over a little bit. Move that in. And the Root. Bottom of the deck here, that Seven of Cups. Just to say, yes, I am using the Rider-Waite Centennial deck. I've been using this deck for a long time. I know a lot of other people do use this now. I use the artwork that was included. I do believe I was the first person to do that and give them a little bit of interpretation. Yeah, so let's go in. First card for the masculine is this Five of Swords. There's some kind of guilt involved with some things. There's another person. There's some guilt involved with another person or another relationship or another thing or another child or another aspect of his life that he does well in, but he feels like he's taken it a bit too far with someone and now he regrets it. Just going to say that. He's taken it a bit too far with someone and now he regrets it. This isn't the feminine, this is somebody else. Not the feminine in this spread the way that you are understanding it to be masculine and feminine for yourself and interpreting those for yourself. So it's something outside that he has given more attention to than he should have in an attempt to win something. So he's achieved his aim, but in that he has also hurt the other person. And they are left a little bit kind of destitute and he feels a bit bad about that. It is a little bit like using people, like somebody has been used in order for him to win. And it's also a little bit like you deliberately create the battle so that you can be the winner. And it's almost like a pride thing, like deliberately proclaiming or showing off or, you know, and that's not even necessarily to other people, it's to himself. He's created a situation for him to kind of prove his prowess and himself as the victor, but then he knows that he's just used these people to his own end, and he doesn't feel too great about that. Feels very separate from the feminine, but the feminine, she starts off with this Ace of Swords. She's really finding her truth, and she finds her truth. Beginning of the month finds a massive truth and clarity. I feel as though it will be for a little while, for the first week of August. A whole lot of clarity is going to come through. So it's just, oh wow, I didn't realise that and that and that and that. And what I experience and what I kind of want to talk about is that we can understand things intellectually, but until we can match up the intellectual story and understanding with our own experience, only then does it become powerful. Oneness is one of those incredible things that it works in that way. A very easy way to explain it is that we can all agree that, we say we are all one. But then in our experience, if you don't experience that, then you're not going, it's just an idea. An idea that in somewhere in your being feels true, but it's not actually experienced as truth until it's experienced in the body in a very physical, experiential way. And so I feel like there's going to be some revelations, because it doesn't need to be necessarily happening at the time. Quite often I have these kind of revelations to do with things that happened in the past. So it's like, oh, this understanding of that concept, oh wow, that was what was happening then. And then I have this massive shift into this new clarity. I also want to share that there isn't some place we get to where we achieve this kind of perfect clarity. And there is always more clarity to find, no matter how enlightened we are. Essentially, there's only really one truth. And it's pretty boring, to be honest. If you kind of want to speak to any enlightened being that will teach and talk from that space, it's incredibly boring. It's the same question over and over. It's essentially that nothing exists and everything exists. And it's all an illusion. So that's kind of the answer to everything. It's not necessarily that practically helpful. So that's it. But on the path of life that we explore, and the reason why we're here, we reveal to ourselves more and more truths and more clarity. And there's going to be a lot of truth and clarity for the feminine. And it is to do with the masculine, and maybe even to do with this situation over here that the masculine is experiencing. So it might be a good idea for the masculine to ask the feminine for help about this, because she is the one that will be able to see clearly. She's the one that has the true victory here, the full victory. The full victory is just understanding that we need not fight and we need not prove ourselves, because we have full understanding of our truth and of the truth for us and the freedom in that. When we understand things as true, we really don't need to prove it to anybody. Second week, and I'm dividing it into weeks. Second week, we have a lot of kind of money, financial, earthly, abundant things going on. There's an influx of money. It seems to be coming actually a little bit from the masculine. There's a gift of financial or material abundance. And this Knight of Pentacles is really delivering it. It's also practical help that the masculine has for the feminine. And I also feel like there's some narratives playing out where he's been giving his attention to this little story over here. This story of the other thing, the other people, the other, I don't know, it could even be a work thing or a career thing that's distracting him and taking him away, and he's kind of used it. Sorry, I know I'm speaking a bit fast, but it's coming through a bit fast. He's used it to kind of prove something to himself. And then he realizes that he really just wants to give practically and work practically with the feminine. And she really experiences this massive influx of abundance. This has really been going on for the feminine a lot. And it's been coming to me a lot that she really needs to let go of what she thinks are her restrictions. And to know that all restrictions are just in her perception. So that doesn't even mean that you need to change anything or even change your perception of restriction. It's just to increase your awareness that the restrictions you're putting upon yourself are your own. There's a new opportunity and a career opportunity, or just any kind of way that she can really sustain herself on the material plane, in the material world, in a very big way. In the second week. So this is kind of after that eclipse. So it's like there seems to be, for me, some kind of influx of abundance, an influx of financial assistance to help people to play. Because that's really what it's for. It's for play. It's not meant to be a source of angst. It's for play. Third card for the masculine over here is this Four of Swords. So for the third week, he will need to take some time out. He will need to take a rest, take some time for himself, some meditation maybe, some relaxation, a vacation. You know, I can see, you know, lying on the beach with the waves lapping, just allowing the sun to beat down on his face and the waves to just kind of wash over him. And real deep relaxation is needed and happening for the masculine. A very, very different story, though, over here for the feminine, because she has the Tower going on. A huge amount of upheaval. And this is connected to this Ace of Pentacles. If the feminine really, really wants to receive, this is about receiving. This Ace of Pentacles is about increasing the ability to receive. We do need to break down all those barriers that we do put up to receiving things, and they're just ideas about ourselves and our circumstances. I can't do this, that and the other because I need to pay the rent, but do you? What would happen? What would happen if you didn't? Oh, I'd get evicted and this, that and the other and blah, blah, blah. But then what? Then what would happen? Then who would you have to call? Then who would you have to make friends with? Then who would you cohabit with? What would happen? So it's a little bit like people don't get past, oh, this would happen, wouldn't it be awful? They're actually afraid to step out of the restrictions. And it really is that if you don't challenge the ideas that you have about your circumstances, then you will stop a different reality from being your experience, if you want that. If you want that. So that's one narrative for some people. There's another narrative for people that are just, they've got it down. They know what they're doing. The abundance is in, it's there, it's all fine. But there's still going to be a big lot of upheaval. I do feel like it is about people moving homes or being thrown out of their homes or thrown out of their false sense of security. Essentially what we've kind of done is not, it doesn't really work. It's not that efficient the way we've kind of set ourselves up in society, and it is really quite a fear-based way of living, to put ourselves in these little boxes. So it's actually a personal story as well. So it's about taking yourself out of that box. We've kind of manifested a way of living that is indicative of the way we feel about ourselves. We don't want to share ourselves with the world, and so we put ourselves in these little boxes. And if you can break yourself out of that box, it really is about breaking through even more. Even for those that think that they do that or think that they live this way, there's always another level, which is what I was trying to say about this Ace of Swords up here. There's always another level, another thing to go. This is also about the feminine losing her ideas about the masculine. And he will not be there to help you, to give you anything that you need. He is resting. He is resting. And it's for you to just be in that process of allowing things to fall apart. And a lot of the time it really just is in her thinking. She has ways of thinking about the masculine that, if were destroyed, would mean that she could then keep creating anew, because basically this destructive energy, what it does is make room for creation and the creativity of how we want things to be in the moment. which is the only thing that really exists. And so really seriously, this tower energy is always present in any moment that we would like to be new and fresh. And love is always new and fresh. It holds no grudges and it has no conditions. And so we need to allow the destruction of those things to really fully experience the flow of love through us. But I do also feel like it has been the feminine that has a lot of these ideas. The masculine's much more wishy-washy. But wishy-washy, but also kind of more free and spontaneous. He's just kind of a little bit all over the place. He does kind of shift from foot to foot, where the feminine kind of, she does get more static and holding on to things sometimes. In the way that I read and have felt feminine energy. Again, it's never to beat ourselves up about this. It's just to be aware. Very often, you know, again, that Rumi quote about love is just really about dissolving the barriers that we have to it. This is really what that card is. And there's always another level, another thing to dissolve. And like I said, it's a constant process. It's like brushing your teeth. You got to like let go of the ideas and the thinking. You don't just brush your teeth once and then your teeth are clean. You know, it's like we go about life and we build up ideas about things. And really, if we don't allow and enjoy the dissolution of those, we really stop the flow of life through us and the flow of love. And a little bit like the masculine has it a little bit easy, because you don't have to, it doesn't have to feel like the tower. You can always also just chill out, take a rest, let it go, you know, lie on the beach. Again, this card's about free will and you do have the choice. What do you want to do? What do you want to experience? Do you want to experience all this upheaval, or do you just want to go, actually? Because that's what it's about. You might feel like there's all this restriction in your life. I need to do this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I need to keep to this, this, this. And, you know, you could kind of really experience all of that falling apart and really be in that. Or you can just really decide to let it all go and fly off and be on the beach. Which is a little bit more of the masculine thing to do. Is like, I don't need to look at all this stuff. I'm just going to go and do something else over here that feels good. And that is just so much more powerful. It really is. You have the choice. It doesn't matter. Sometimes this is fun. Sometimes this is just more fun than this. But you have the choice. None of it's right or wrong. Whatever you desire. Fourth card, fourth week for the masculine is the 8 of Pentacles. So I'm saying that, you know, these weeks, but really anything can happen at any time as well. But it does feel a little bit like there's a chronological time order for this reading with these cards. But fourth card for the masculine is the 8 of Pentacles, the work card. So there's a lot of career things going on, and a lot of, it's like he's willing to work at this with the feminine as well. He again, it's here, it kind of hooks up to this Knight of Pentacles energy. It's I'm doing it for us, I'm doing it for you. Everything I do for you. And it is this focus on practical ways of doing things, practical application of something that he enjoys. Very important, again, for any masculine kind of oriented people, that they really enjoy the work that they do. There's a bit of a reframe. I do feel as though this Knight of Pentacles kind of indicates a shift in thinking towards how can I practically aid her, with a capital H, her, whomever she is. How can I practically come to her aid? But then he really needs to, he goes within and has a bit of a rest. And then during that period, I do feel like then there's this new surge of clarity into something that he does enjoy on a day-to-day basis that is extremely productive. Enjoyable, productive, interesting. Also is indicative of that energy within the relationship. So it's that I understand that I need to work at this, and I'm ready to work at it and to enjoy it, to enjoy the practical application of what is involved in being with you and being in a relationship. Beautiful message there. And then for the feminine, can't get much better than the 10 of Pentacles. So for anyone that has a little bit of fear around this tower, this is what you achieve. It's flanked with the Ace and the 10 of Pentacles. These are really, really high cards. And this whole financial thing has really been a kind of a message that's been coming again and again and again and again through. And I understand that there are some people that this is just not relevant for, and they're like, I don't have an issue with that. This is all good. But it's really just an idea and a feeling of freedom, a feeling of there is no restriction and everything is at her fingertips. And this is togetherness and union, and can be a card of marriage. And it's really just that I have everything that I want. There's nothing lacking here. There is no lack. And there is a really big shift this month, and I want to draw attention to it. And it really is this card here. And I feel like it's at the beginning of the month. For any that's kind of experiencing a masculine that's not really in the picture, or not focusing upon things in the way the feminine may want him to, the masculine is going to shift from one, as I said, one kind of narrative, one story that's been taking a lot of his time and attention in order to prove himself as the victor and as the winner and as powerful. And he's going to let go of that. And that's going to free him up to a whole new energy and a whole different way of being with the feminine. Let's have a look at the energy he brings into her. Is the 7 of Swords. So really this is the idea of, for me at the moment, the idea of the deserter, and of someone that's trying to get away from something that they really shouldn't be running away from, and that you can't get away from because this person's trying to run away, but he's like got all these swords here, and it's like if you take the essence of where you've been with you, you know, you're just carrying it with you and looking back. And so as this is the energy that he offers her, it's really confronting the fact that he cannot get away from this connection, from this truth, from this person, and that it must be addressed. And that no matter how hard he might try to kind of run away or maybe retreat even into this, because this card can also be used as a bit of an excuse to retreat and not really be that present. No matter how hard he tries to do that, he cannot get away from this. You cannot get away from love. It will find you. It will catch up with you at some point. Hopefully, a long, long, long time before you die. Card the feminine brings is the 2 of Pentacles. So this is movement, travel, and the juggling of two things, an infinite love, and the juggling of two things. So we've got the Ace here, and then we have the 2. I feel like this is really being able to juggle her needs and his needs and really understanding. And I think she does need to be a little bit compassionate with him about maybe this fear that he has that means that he does, run away and desert. And to have a bit of compassion for the person that wants to run away from something but they can't get away from it, And I do feel like the more she allows herself to receive from him, the more she will enable and allow herself to be generous with him in that manner too. I feel as though he finds it a lot easier to be financially or practically or pragmatically supportive, as in, and that doesn't necessarily mean financially, but it's just, this is the way that I see it, or this is the kind of practical thing that you should do, kind of blah blah blah. And then the feminine's kind of always moving from this cups emotional place. So she wants this kind of emotional support, and he doesn't want to give her that. And I think it's very important that she receives any support that he does want to give her, and doesn't have this idea, and I think this is what this tower is about, all these ideas of the kind of support that she wants. I think that can be a barrier. And the more she can allow him to support her in anything that he's doing, whether that seems like he's running away or not. Because sometimes when people run away, it is supporting us in finding out how to stand on our own 2 feet and how to balance our needs with others. And I do feel like it is that. It's about reaching a balanced equilibrium where she can juggle her needs and his needs, and understand that it's all one thing, and it's all love, and it's all infinite love, and it's the love that really joins the two of them together in that, and that neither is more important than the other, but maybe a little bit she has been missing because she hasn't been allowing herself to receive so much. She feels like she's doing all the giving. But this card is balance, so it's like I'm able to receive and therefore give to you. It doesn't feel out of balance. She won't be doing any less supporting, but it won't feel like she's doing everything right. It won't feel so hard because she's allowing herself to receive at the same time. Root energy here is the sun. Wow. And let's see the crown, because they're connected. The 6 of Swords always comes up in these, or seems to anyway. So the root energy here is the sun card. Joy, freedom, self-expression, childlike innocence, real self-expression, and the sun shining and warmth, and real experience of innocent, true, powerful life happening, but it is, and this 6 always seems to represent for me the masculine being a little bit in control and the feminine having a bit of an issue with it, but he's always trying to take her into this calmer, more beautiful place, more calm, more beautiful place. And so the way that we achieve this freedom and joy is to allow this to happen. It's strange because the feeling is that the feminine energy is the one leading, and this is what I really want people to understand. When you are truly empowered, you do not seek to be in control. And you do not perceive even that something or someone can have control over you, or you can have control over another. There is some kind of control issue going on over here with the masculine. And the way that we overcome that control issue is to let him lead and let him control, quote unquote. What the feminine has been doing is really digging her heels in and trying to control things. And doing it in a myriad of ways of like trying to work out what things are, trying to believe it, do this meditation or that meditation, or clearing or healing or this, that and the other, or this tarot or whatever, or trying to work it out. But really, it's that when she understands that she is utterly empowered, no matter the circumstance, that no one can control her, nothing can control her, not circumstances, not ideas, not her own self, not anything, that she is truly a woman of God, of life, of creation, that she is always free, then the narrative that he's in control and calling all the shots is no threat, because it's part of that. And it's really, really important. this is on a really grand scale, that we're stepping out of some kind of patriarchal aspect and that the feminine is rising. But the way that she rises is to surrender to the idea of control from the masculine in these little one-to-one relationships. Because there's no fear. If you know you cannot be controlled, it doesn't matter, you know? And what happens is when we stop trying to stop people controlling us, is that basically, and when we stop trying to control others, which is the same thing, basically it gets into this power game and this power struggle, which is really like the cause of all war, is just, it disappears. It disappears. It doesn't matter. But like I've said before, someone has to do the driving. It doesn't matter who. But you're no less empowered by being the one being escorted through a story of a relationship than the one doing the escorting, if you truly understand that you are always free, totally free, and can never not be. But it is the way that the feminine heals the masculine, by surrendering to his desire to do it his way. But who's the more empowered? Who is actually the more empowered? Is it equal? Is it the feminine? Is it the masculine? Does it matter? Does it actually matter? And I do actually feel that there's a lot of people that are kind of using things, using processes actually to control things. They think they're doing good work. They think they're trying to heal or enlighten or, you know, whatever to themselves or others, but really they're just trying to control things. That even the desire for a peaceful world, you know, it's kind of ridiculous in a way to one that understands peace, because they know that peace is always of the experience of the self and really has nothing to do with the outside world. And when everybody kind of lives in to that degree, then really, you know, there's the experience of a peaceful world. So a lot of people, really it's the idea of trying to get somewhere, trying to achieve an aim. Really it's always kind of manipulative, just to let you know. Really just letting things be as they are is always the most powerful thing, is always the path of least resistance. And what I do tend to notice is that people do put up a lot of barriers to that path of least resistance because they like to hold on to things. They like to hold on to ideas and stories and things. And they're nice. Sometimes they're useful. It doesn't matter if you explore those things, but sometimes you do need just to let them all go and then, you know, start again. And then what I do believe is that whatever keeps emerging again and again and again is really your true and truest, highest path, because it's always being born from the completely flat level ground that you are left with when you allow everything to be destroyed. And that includes any type of relationship with anybody, is that you've got to really just like let it be nothing in order for it to emerge again in its purest, most beautiful way. And then really it's like meeting for the first time every time. And I've said this before. And that's really, I think, what is the most beautiful experience of finding each other in that first beautiful love over and over and over again. And it is possible. So an interesting month, a lot of clearing, a lot of receiving for the feminine, a huge amount of receiving. I do feel like it's connected to this clarity that she's coming to in her own experiences, a lot of them from the past. And then, you know, there is this move into abundance. It's again, you see the pentacles match up. Pentacles for the second card, pentacles for the fourth card, for both. So you know, there is this important thing that together we are practically more powerful, for sure. Okay, I am going to do a little oracle card, but I'm just going to do a quick card from the Journey of Love oracle cards, Alana Fairchild, Rasuli, Richard Cohen, which I have used in the past and I like. They are a little bit shorter than the Rumi, which I often use. Could you actually just let me know in the comments if you like the Rumi or what you want to do, or which kind of oracle cards, if you want me to carry on doing the Rumis or not, basically, because I'd be interested in that. In the meantime, let's just pull, I like the look of this one, card from this deck. Oh, I actually pulled this card for myself really recently. It's really interesting. So yes, I'm going to put that there and read from the guidebook, number 32, Devotion to the Small. Okay, let's just find it. Oh, just gone past it. Here we go. So a little message here from this Journey of Love oracle cards and book, and as usual, just take this time as a little bit of a meditation. Maybe take a little look at that image, but close your eyes if you want. Take a few deep breaths and just allow life to happen in these minutes. She bows. She honors growth. She sees that within the smallest flower there is the teaching of the earth, the gospel of Gaia, the mystery of life demonstrated. She recognizes that she too is of nature, subject to the mysteries of growth and life, that in honoring nature, in taking pleasure in life, she opens her heart to allow great creation to happen through her. This is the feminine wisdom, alive in men and women with open hearts. There is an innate wisdom within you that understands this devotion to the Earth Mother as an important step in fulfilling your spiritual destiny on this planet. She is speaking to you now, letting you know that there is a small change happening, something that is growing within you, that you may recognize but not think is so important. Yet she tells you now that it is very significant. Soon you will see that what you thought was a seed to yield a single flower is actually blossoming into a lush garden of manifestation. Gratitude and love for the small changes happening are leading you into a fullness that you can only dream of. Enjoy. The message of this oracle for you is that your blossoming is occurring now, and the Earth Mother has gratitude for your presence within her being, for the work you are doing to help other human beings. She asks for you to surrender any concern you have to her, to let her creative power continue to gently guide you into your rightful place in the world, that you may shine as you were born to do, in service to the evolution of this planet. She is helping you now. Trust her. And the short poem is: a flower is a poem that tells you the truth of a thought in the fragrance of a dream, as fleeting as a heartbeat, as lasting as a memory. Okay, and so that's that. And then I want to launch something for the month of August. For the month of August, I'm doing something very special to try and give answers to as many people as possible. I'm doing two things this week. I'm doing a lot of channeled answering and writing. I'm going to be writing my Twin Flame ebook, which is going to be available hopefully as soon as possible. And if you have any questions that you wish to send me, generic questions that would be applicable to all, So it's kind of like, what is a twin flame? Why is a twin flame? What's the difference between this, that, and the other? Are we, kind of things like that. Please feel free to email me at natalie@nataliepashel.com with that. The other thing I would like to do, though, is offer everybody the opportunity to get an answer to one question that they have about their life, their connection, from me. And so I'm calling it an 11/11 reading. It's going to be $11.11. It's going to be available on my scheduling. And so what you do is you write a 1-sentence question, just one question. If you want to ask another question, then you'll have to do it again. But I'm only going to answer the first line of what you send me. And I will send you a 100-word response to that. I will tune in and channel the response to that. And so I'm going to try and be of service to as many people as possible, because I think everybody can stretch to that. And I also feel like personally it's good for me because it means that I am in this kind of very open, connected, channeled state, which is kind of where I feel like I want to be for the next month. So even though it's probably quite a lot of intense work for me, I feel like I want to do that. Maybe I'm working too hard, I don't know. I hope to work hard anyway, I do enjoy it. So please, I will put the link below. And you can do that. And if you want to send me more questions, then you can. It will be limited. So there will be only a certain amount that I can do a week. And so you'll have to choose on the site. There'll be a week that you'll choose to get your answer. And you will get your answer by the end of that week. So that is the way that it's going to be done. So for example, you might go to the site, you'll have to, if you can't get it in the first week, it might be the third week before you can, before I'll get to your question. But that's the kind of first come, first served way that I will do it. Okay, so that is that. I'm looking forward to helping you all as much as possible. Apologies that I've kind of been a little bit off radar, but I'm definitely coming back now and trying to create and make available as many ways of helping you as possible with these very complex at times love connections and experiences of life and growth and love. All right then, loads and loads of love to you. Take good care, and I can see you over on the weekly Vimeo reading. If you haven't already, and I can see you weekly there. Otherwise, there'll be some oracle readings, and again, as I said, I will be hopefully responding to your questions and giving people as many answers as possible about everything. All right then, loads and loads of love. Have an incredible August, and thank you for being you. Thank you for committing to love and supporting me by being here with me. It means a lot. Lots of love. See you soon.